Designing a small kitchen is no small task. Although all the same elements are involved, our approach to designing a small kitchen is a little different. There are certain challenges that we need to overcome when investing in a smaller amount of square feet. The key is to take the challenges of designing a small kitchen and make them work for us to create a beautiful and functional space. I want to identify these challenges, talk about how to overcome them, or think about them differently when designing a small kitchen. The first challenge is square footage. In a small kitchen, we end up with less square feet to work with. And this creates a challenge because we still need to get all the same elements into our kitchen as we would with a larger kitchen. So we need to fit everything in and still have a functional space and it not be too cramped. However, what we see as a result of a smaller amount of square footage is actually a more efficient workflow because everything is closer together. And this creates a nice flow to our space because you don't have to walk too far to get to any one of the zones of your kitchen. I'm sure you've heard of the kitchen triangle. It's a concept that's been around since the 1920s to help maximize the efficiency of our kitchens and making them more ergonomic. And basically your fridge, stove, and sink should form a triangle that isn't too big or too small. Too small and you're all cramped up in your kitchen, and too big, you're just walking everywhere, wasting time. And although this concept has evolved over the last 100 years, the basic premise is still the same. We want to have an efficient workflow in our kitchen. And small kitchens lend themselves to this workflow very well. And you may think that a small kitchen is too cramped, and with 2 cooks in the kitchen, it probably definitely would be. So smaller kitchens are definitely more conducive to a single user. All right, before we go any further, if you have any questions about kitchen design, please use the comment section down below to connect with me to ask me those questions. I've been in this business for a long time, almost 20 years. Although I don't know everything, I've learned a lot along the way. And I still have lots to learn. So engaging with you in a conversation about kitchen design is not only beneficial to me, but it could be beneficial to you. So I'd love to hear from you. The second challenge is functionality. How do we create small spaces that are still functional? For me, when designing a small space, it helps me be creative. Because I don't have as many options, I have to really use what I have to make it the best that I can. And I kind of enjoy that process. You tend to think about every little space and how you can use it more efficiently. Now, a small kitchen would be probably the only time I would ever suggest using a corner base cabinet. I know, I've said it. If you've watched a few of my other videos, you would know that I just have an aversion to corner base cabinets. I think they're too deep, they're not functional, stuff gets lost forever, and I just personally don't like them. So I try to work around them as much as possible. However, in a small kitchen, I would sometimes use a corner base cabinet to utilize as much of the space as possible. When square footage is limited, it's important to use as much of it as you can. And so I would use a corner base cabinet, but I would put in something very functional like a magic corner or what's called a Le Mans or a Lazy Susan that will completely pull out of that cabinet. And in smaller spaces, finishing the cabinets to the ceiling is a must. It's important that we use all of the space that we have, and so by going up will sometimes help us get more out of that space. Now this being said, this is going to add to your price, and cabinets to the ceiling are hard to reach. And so I suggest, if you're doing this, to get yourself a foldable stool, slide it in the cabinet somewhere, maybe under your sink, so that you have something that you can use to reach these areas. If you're going to finish the cabinets to the ceiling, I recommend then having a way to access those cabinets so that they're not just empty voids that don't get used. And as we think about going up with our cabinets, what about what's underneath our cabinets? The toe kick space under our cabinets is a great place for hidden drawers, for things like trays and pans, things that we don't use often, but we need to store somewhere. I love using this space to create an extra spot in a small kitchen to make it more functional. In a small kitchen, you want to get the largest sink you can possibly fit in that thing. Seriously, the largest sink possible. And a lot of brands have the option of an insert cutting board that sits either completely over the top of that sink and inserts in it so that the top is flush with your countertop, or a half of a cutting board that covers half of your sink. This creates more workspace, more prep area, and it's a great way to utilize the sink in a different way when you're not actually using the bowl of the sink. I think this is genius. It is a really great way to add some extra functionality to that kitchen. Another thing you can do is go with smaller appliances. Now, beware, smaller appliances generally are a little more expensive. However, you can get 28-inch wide fridges, you can get 24-inch wide ranges, and you can get an 18-inch dishwasher. Combined, you could save anywhere from 16 to 20 inches of space. Think about it, that's a single door pantry or a bank of drawers and an upper cabinet. Like, there's a lot you can do with 16 to 20 inches in a kitchen. Just by reducing the sizes of your appliances, you can gain so much more space. There may be some things you need to go without. Maybe you don't need a microwave. Maybe you could go without a dishwasher. You can get away without these things in a kitchen. So it's important to have an inventory of, here's all the stuff that's essential that I need to store in my kitchen, and here's all the things that I really want to have and I need to have, such as your fridge and stove and your sink and maybe a dishwasher and maybe a microwave or other appliances. So really plan it out that you have a fully functional kitchen and all the elements that you want as well. Oh my gosh, I just did this whole thing with these bloody blankets on my countertop back there. The third challenge isn't really a challenge at all. We're talking about affordability. Now, affordability is a relative term. However, small kitchens lend themselves to you being able to put the money that you would have paid for just more cabinetry towards higher quality finishes, products, and surfaces. But because your kitchen is small, you could possibly afford maybe quartz countertop or granite countertop. This is a very nice upgrade. It is very modern. It lasts for a long time, and it's a really good place to put your money in a new kitchen. Or possibly you could upgrade to a dovetail drawer system instead of a Metabox drawer system. Dovetail drawer systems are a much better quality, but they do cost more. So in a small kitchen, you could probably afford to upgrade to that. Or possibly your door style. Maybe you like shaker doors. Here's a hint. Shaker doors are rattly. That panel in the center is very thin, but you could upgrade to what's called a reversed raised panel shaker door. So it looks like a raised panel door from the inside, but the outside looks like a shaker. It's like a raised panel door backwards in the frame of the door. This allows you to have the look of a shaker door, but it's also a very solid sounding door. Of course, you gotta pay for this, but in a small kitchen, you might be able to do that. Now, the other part of a small kitchen is it just costs less because there's less square footage. And that's a good thing. You don't need to spend as much money. You could get a really nice kitchen with really nice finishes and it not break the bank. And small kitchens, of course, lend themselves to that because you're not purchasing as much square footage. So this is good for the bank, and you can still get a very nice, functional, and beautiful kitchen. If you need help designing a small kitchen, I have an online service that might be right for you. Check out the link in the description below to see all the details. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I would really appreciate it, and it really helps the video. If you're interested in kitchen design trends, check out this video. I go through 10 trends that I think are gonna last into 2022 and beyond. Or you could check out this playlist, the 3 pillars of great kitchen design. All right, if you're still watching this video, you are a superstar. Thank you so much. Until next time.